So what are your thoughts then about the time capsule and what you should put in it, where it should be, how long it should be for? Yeah.
So basically, I was thinking that I don't think it should just be like this class that contributes to it. I think if we could get like next year's classes to also add stuff to it, could be a little bit more valuable. I'm not sure, like maybe we all have something like really good to contribute to it, but it'd be cool if it like extended over at least 2 years that we could add stuff into it. And then in terms of the date we would open it, I feel like it would be kind of cool to set it for the expected date of the singularity, like 2035. And then for location, personally, I like the idea of, I think it was above your garage.
Yeah. So the way that would work, first of all, it's very sort of accessible without tech. So there's a ladder that pulls down, and you know, all sorts of things. There's natural light up there, so you know it's kind of like no matter what happens in the world, it's still impossible to get to the location. It seems to me we don't have to have very valuable containers, but on the other hand, you know, the standard is to have like something that's at least waterproof and so on. So your stuff's not going to get all ruined from moisture. But there are a lot of kind of containers you can think of, you know, like plastic bins and so on are really cheap and would fulfill that. The thing is that the temptation to open the time capsule before the 20 years might be a problem. It was too easy to open. And then the other question is whether you're going to inscribe anything. You know, like what will the outside of the thing look like? Yeah, but I guess we could make this an ongoing project. So like when I interview students for fall 2023, I'll tell them that this is an ongoing thing that you, the students of winter 2023, expect them, the students of fall, to you know, do their part and so on. And the same in 2024. You could do all 4 terms then in the 2 years.
And just for the numbers perspective, 2025 is 2045.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, okay. So then we could
And then you get, you know, the letters for the stuff.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
6 of us.
Yeah.
Time capsule with 6 things in it, maybe a bit underwhelming to whoever opens it. 20 years.
Yeah. So no, that's right. So we could go until 2025. Hello. So what we've decided thus far is this is going to be a multi-class sort of thing. It's not just us, but like the next 2 years worth of classes, and that we would attempt to set it up so that there's like 6 semesters worth of students contributing to it, and it's completed in 2025. We opened in 2045. Okay? So sort of starting now, yeah, and going. So that's really more than 2 years. It's like 2.5 years, because we go to the end, we go to like, you know, December 2025. So does that sound reasonable to you? What were you
Wait.
thinking?
Is that 20 years? Right, 2020, okay,
Or we could go the other way and do like January 1st. So that is losing less of the weeks.
Yeah,
Don't have to lose at the end of
right,
it. So it would be.
yeah,
4 the last.
yeah. Yeah, but still, like, are you gonna cut out? Wow. An actual person, I gotta put on my headphones now. Yeah. So, Ziad, we brought a camcorder, but it doesn't seem to be working, so the only recording is our Zoom recording. So you should be as much a part of it as anybody. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Looking forward to it.
Are you actually there?
Yeah, I am here. I am here. It's just network is a bit poor.
Are you speaking? Because I'm not hearing you. I was a little bit afraid
Yeah.
of the
Can you hear me
tech
now?
of this.
It's kind of ironic.
Yes, it is. This being the class where we can't get the tech working. So, Syed, could you tell me in chat whether you're speaking and I'm not hearing you? Yeah.
Can you
I'm
hear me
definitely
now?
not hearing you.
Oh my gosh, this is so awkward. I am
All right.
speaking, yes. But you can't hear me for some reason.
Is your camera?
It is off. So we good.
I am
why do you-
speaking, yes. But you can't hear me for some reason. That's true. Okay, so let me change the audio settings.
He's in an echo.
Is it an echo?
You should go join him.
I don't want to. Okay, what if I do this? Can you hear me now? What? I am trying to.
Why does he- is he just-
Oh, nice. Okay. Dr. Solez is muted.
I am unmuted now.
Oh, yes, there we go. You can hear me now.
Yes, we can.
Okay, excellent.
It remarkable achievement. We've set up Zoom
Nice.
and it's actually working.
We
Yeah,
bested the Zoom. Amazing.
yes. So let me quickly summarize
great.
for you the august decision this body of human beings has made. Yeah. So we have decided that the completion of the time capsule will be in 2025. Now, we're not sure whether it's like January 1st or sometime later, but anyway, that's as far as we've gotten. And all the students up until then, so that would include both 2023 classes and both 2024 classes, would contribute to the project. Yeah, so what do you think of that? Is that a good plan?
Yeah, I think so. That's a great idea.
Okay. So what about the 2020, what about winter 2025? Should we cut them out entirely? Like when they start on January 6th, we'll say, well, we had this great time capsule project, but we voted you off the island and you are not part of it at all.
I think it would be nice to like have it done in like January, you know, like
Yeah.
the first of the year. So you can like include them and then just like,
Again, from
yeah.
numbers perspective, we're talking 2025, 2045. If we cut them out, that means we have 5 different semesters. Like, of course, that being said, that's some of the arguments. You just cut out winter 2025.
Well, if we cut out winter 2025, we'd have 4 terms.
Should it not be both 2024, both 2023,
Right,
and us? Oh,
you
we are, sorry.
you are in 2023. Yeah, just to reacquaint you with the year this is, but this is 2023. Yeah,
Right.
no problem. Okay. So your thought then is to go a little way into January so we can have some participation by winter 2025 and they don't feel completely like racially discriminated against, that all people, you know, who were born after, we just completely ignore younger people. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that sounds good. And we shouldn't wait for fall 2025 because that's just too boring. You know, we're already 2025 and for the 20-year cycle, so we might as well, like, at some point, maybe in January 2025, complete the time capsule. What? Yeah. Okay. So what are your thoughts? What would you like it to look like? What physical characteristics should the time capsule have? How big should it be? You know, the first robotic dog that I had, the one from 2003, do you want it to be in there? Yeah.
well, I think like a cool idea I had was maybe like everyone can just like predict what things would look like in 2045, right? And then put that in the capsule. Like perhaps if you want more participation, you can just make that a participation activity for the class and then just print it out and throw it in the time capsule.
Right.
Yeah.
So what, like, detailed prediction of a future year, should we give them a clue of what sector of human activity they're supposed to predict about, or just general predictions? Or
No, actually, yes,
Yeah, whatever they want, whatever they're interested in.
yeah, okay. A general reflection on what 2045 will be like. Okay. Yeah. So it's possible, right, that if artificial general intelligence comes a lot sooner than that, that it will be obvious to everybody that, you know, the singularity was long before 2045, right? Like Ray Kurzweil is now predicting 2035 rather than 2045. Yeah.
well, we could just take that Time magazine as 2045.
Yes, yeah.
Or fill our work with why we 2045. We can't blame us this time.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay. So now, what about, and I want to say this in the most neutral way possible, so it doesn't sound like I'm suggesting that you guys would actually be worker bees with some boring task of mine. But I have the Sentinel storage, 99th and 66th. There are 3 big rooms in there with stuff. Now, the stuff, some of it is coroplast cutouts of the students from 2020. And sometimes duplicates, like more than one. And then there are 2 coroplast cutouts of me. Those were the original ones.
Who paid for the time capsule?
No,
Maybe just like a cut off
too-
your head.
too big, too big. No. But this is sort of separate from the time capsule in a way, but we have realized, our family has realized for some time, that we shouldn't keep paying for these 3 rooms at Sentinel Storage because the value of the stuff is probably dropped. Most of it dropped to 0 a long time ago. So we're paying real money to keep stuff that's not worth anything, right? So some of you, or some future class who's more gullible than you guys are, could actually help me, like with the triaging stuff, right? And some of that stuff would be small enough that it could be put in the time capsule if it was nominated by a student, right? I don't think it should be me that decides what goes in the time capsule, but like if the students, if we did this thing where we're throwing out junk and keeping the odd keepsake kind of thing, and giving special attention to little things that would fit in the time capsule. Yeah. Yeah. So do you want that to begin in 2023 or do it in 2025? So you guys are off the, sorry, we're not active now. You guys can do it though. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you said you had 3 rooms? You
What?
said you had 3 rooms?
Yes.
Yeah, so we don't have to do all 3, right?
No,
So
no,
like if you divvy it up between.
between classes, yeah. So there can be one particularly well dealt with room that like
Well,
you
yeah,
guys
so
are famous for.
Pick the room that you think is the most exciting, and you think is most likely to produce some valuable artifact that you've forgotten about. that you
Right.
can, discover.
Right, well, so of the 3 rooms, one of them is packed full, like floor to ceiling with just stuff.
So
Right.
maybe we pass on that one.
Yeah, but the other 2, you can actually see a lot of what's in there as soon as you open the door. So I think that's more interesting.
And is one of them with like all the cardboard cutouts, is that one of those 2 rooms?
Well, they both have some
Oh.
cardboard cutouts. Yeah. So you guys can do one of those 2 rooms that's not packed full where you can actually.
You'll leave that for 20.
I see.
Second that.
Yeah.
After we almost cut them out of the project. They're gonna need us.
Okay, so is that what you want? You don't want to like rush this, so these throwing out parties from Sentinel Storage will be in like January 25? Or when do you want them to start?
I personally think that this summer would be good, so it's like really warm and like I'm free this summer, so I can, well, cause I like organizing things a lot.
Yeah,
I
cool,
could do all 3 units just for fun, just for.
yeah,
Weekend or something.
yeah. Okay, so this summer would be the prototype, right? We show other people how to do it, right? Give them an SOP, this is a standard operating procedure, what they have to do based on our flawless first event, right? Yeah, so that would be pretty cool. Okay. So what about electronic things? Are you interested in seeing if there's a storage medium that's guaranteed to keep files for 20 years?
Yeah, what's like the standard time capsule like practice? Because things are gonna erode, rot, so on, so on. You know, we need to have like a vacuum seal everything. No, not actually, but you know.
It's like you always see the movies how they throw like old cassette tapes and stuff, and they're buried under the.
Yeah.
You know, those things are.
Well,
actually
if it's in a
surviving.
storage unit, I feel like it's
Yeah, like it's in
yeah,
a garage, as long as there's no
but still
major.
no batteries.
Yes.
no
that's-
batteries.
Let's just take the batteries out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so why don't we also be at the cutting edge of this determination of what kind of technology should be represented in there, and then what we want to then leave as stored files, you know?
Right.
Or etched, etched in the valuable, I don't know.
I think you could take this video. And just like, don't put it on YouTube, right?
Right,
And save it as.
Oh, that's good.
That'd be pretty cool, because it'd be sort of, inconsistent.
yeah,
Video messages too, you know, we can like film students talking to the camera.
right,
Everyone can submit video files, throw it on a thumb drive and just
right,
let it sit there.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Perhaps USBs will be obsolete by 2045.
So I mean, that's gonna be.
Yeah.
Like, well, I've got this thing here, I know what it is.
You have to dig it up.
Like, go back.
Yeah, they have to go
find
dig it
years
up.
to Find the, you know,
Yeah.
how now if we wanna use a floppy disk or something, we have to. Hunt down an old.
Yeah.
okay, so we need more recording of students, so people won't say, you know, it's just like the moon landing, completely faked. Actually, Dr. Solez was the only one there, and there were no students at all, and, you know, the voices and images of the students were just completely made up, yeah. But this looks pretty convincing. You have shadows and, you know, stuff.
You're cutting what's.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Okay, leave it like that for, let me just see if the video camera, no worries, so this this can do it.
That's.
Recovering data.
Within 20 years.
Yeah,
It'd be pretty cool if we could put like I feel like maybe felt like smartphones will probably be around then, but like way better. So I was gonna suggest putting a modern smartphone, but I don't think anyone is donating a brand new iPhone 14 to be put in a time capsule.
I'd like a craft one. I
Oh,
don't think it will.
Yeah,
comes off, though.
I have some like old Apple devices.
Or if we like. You know, buy a cheap one. Like,
Yeah.
one that we use to save stuff. Like,
Mm.
if we use it to take pictures and.
Yo, that's a good, like have a phone, but then like all our video recordings are just on the phone.
I mean, here is that it just doesn't work in 20 years and all that is
I
lost.
feel like we could maybe
Like if you go to Costco, they sell like these cheap smartphones.
$100.
$100.
so isn't it, the theory is that very, very young people now are trying to get phones that just work as phones or have very limited functionality because everybody around them is so into smartphones that, you know, dumb phones are suddenly becoming fashionable. Yeah.
Or did you guys see the video of that one, the lady who was like describing a landline? She was like, we need a phone in the house that's just for emergency. in the house.
That's funny. I haven't seen it, but
That's a landline.
that's a very 2023 thing to say. But yeah, I have seen those dumb phones where it's like people wanna detox their dopamine, so they just use like a flip phone. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, well, we don't have to decide exactly what we're gonna do
No, we
today.
got 2 years.
Yeah, we do. Okay. Very good, well, so. Let me just very briefly, maybe for less than a minute, bring up the subject of Rod Stewart. Do any of you know who he is or? No.
I know,
Sort of.
Okay, but none of you are fans or anything. Okay, because I'm gonna finalize the purchase of the tickets for that show August 15th soon, yeah. And so Dr. Tazinski and his wife and son are gonna be among the people there. So yeah, so anyway, that's kind of another side of this. We'll see if those people going to that event have any thoughts about what you should do with the time capsule.
Speaking of that, since you get sort of the recurring guest lectures, also perhaps contribute something, in that be pretty good?
Yeah, sure.
Because, you know, the ones I guess we think are gonna be over the next.
Yeah, and like, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that like if you really analyze it, you know, there are a lot of people speaking in the course with slightly different views on things, right? So, yeah, anyway.
I mean, time capsule kind of ignores all that, right? You just take this on.
So is
you
this-
think is.
Yeah, oh, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool if we got like those guest lectures.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool if we made it like, and you guys can disagree, like a very like LABMP like time capsule. You know, like we're doing it as part of the class, so it's like dedicated to like people who made it possible, you know,
Yeah,
people that were part of it, and so on. And
Yeah.
maybe stick to the theme of the class, so the things we talk about in our predictions or in our video submissions.
yeah. Yeah, and I could foresee that future students, this is enough of a thing that we're actually making progress on, that one or more would pick that as the theme for their paper, you know? My bright ideas for how we're really gonna nail the world's best time capsule ever, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That sounds good. Okay, so,
Is there any like things that we need to consider budget wise and stuff too?
well, yeah, the budget thing, of course, I know it seems like in recent years, every time I bring this up, the students' eyes just sort of glaze over like, what is he talking about? But originally, there was a club, a University of Alberta club for this course, right? With a budget. You can't be a club if you don't have money, have the money in the bank account. Yeah. So, and we would have social events. And like the guy with the bullwhip and, you know, various odd and quirky things we've had over the years, and mix them with like student presentations and food and drink and stuff like that. Yeah. And so there hasn't been an active club. I mean, to be active, you have to have like a president. One of the students needs to lead the club and so on. And you're doing stuff to generate money and just spend the money on social events and so on. Yeah. But so, yeah, this could be related to the reactivated club if we ever do that. Yeah. So that's another possibility.
And that could be cool, just sort of as our group to be able to interact with the group that's in 2025 is also going to be contributing to this project with like all the groups in between.
Yeah.
It's like a semester by semester thing, and they just add it on, you know, there's some sort of.
Yeah, just to sort of give you an idea of the things that can happen vis-a-vis your persona and sense of self in this course and so on. There was a student who recently has become an optometrist who decided that his video, while he was kind of proud of it and everything, while he was applying to optometry programs, he didn't want it to be publicly available. So I made it private. But then when he got into optometry, now he desperately wants the video back up. So now it's public, and I sent him a copy of the video so he can do other stuff beyond the YouTube. Yeah. So that's one kind of manifestation. Then the other is things that sort of complete a sort of a life cycle for me that I never thought about. Like when I encounter a student in the course and what later happens to them. So there was a student who took this course in 2018. And he is now an incoming anatomical pathology resident with us. Yeah. So that's pretty exciting. So, and so I wrote letters of recommendation for him for medical school. I still have copies of and stuff like that. So, you know, it's interesting. Sometimes when you do that stuff, you're just doing it for the student. It's not going to benefit you at all. But occasionally, you know, it sort of comes full circle. And a person actually re-enters your life in a whole different status, you know. Now as a graduated medical student who's been through CARMS and chosen, you know, pathology and then chose our program and is now, you know, just down the hall from me. Yeah. So that's sort of interesting. Yeah, and then the follow-up is sort of interesting. We've had a lot of students in this course that went into law, but not a single one of them did anything with the course once they started learning law. And apparently the reason for that is, I'm sure I'm not telling it entirely accurately, but there are more law students than there are lawyer jobs. And so a lot of law students never become lawyers, even though they complete law school, they go into something else. And it's rather competitive and stuff. So the idea of spending any time at all giving feedback to us or telling us about the singularity in law or whatever just doesn't make any sense because they're in a different rat race now. Yeah, that's how I figure it. Where some of the students who go into medicine, for instance, who kind of maintain contact with us, and it's really cool. So Vanessa Rogers from 2012, She always dreamed about being a doctor in her hometown and having lots of horses on a farm outside of town, and she's done all that. Yeah, and she's on Facebook, and I see how her horse is doing in various competitions and stuff. Yeah, and her medical practice is also thriving. And she kind of grew up in front of our eyes during her presentation because she was a basically shy person. That was the first sort of public presentation she gave. And she had enormous technical problems, but we edited all them out. So the video is great, but you see how pale and frightened she looks. You know, she's just never done anything as public as this presentation that she's giving right now, but then she was a more confident person afterward, and probably, you know, contributed to lots of other things in her life, I would say. So, yeah. Anyway, but there also are, I must say, they're like the Peter Lahib leadership program people, some of them with very high standards, where they asked for their video to be taken down very shortly after we put it up, that it was just, you know, they're proud of being able to do that, but they're getting so much better so quickly. They don't want anybody to know that they did that, you know? Yeah. And they're also sort of celebrities, real ones, like people who took the course who are fairly or moderately well-known professional musicians, and the presentation didn't have anything to do with their music. And so they said, well, you can keep it up, just I don't want my name on it, right? It's like, leave people puzzled. Who was that? You know? Look at that. That's really cool, but why isn't there a name? And there isn't a name because he thought that it would detract from like the song albums and so on, because people would say, well, how does this video over on YouTube match with this guy, you know, singing these songs? Yeah. So you never know. And then there's a family aspect, like Hannah is a part of this gigantic, maybe extended family, and they all seem to be eventually taking the course, and yeah, or trying to take the course, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, that's one sort of cool feature. Yeah.
Do you think there's like an aspect of LabMP where like, you know, it's nice that it's small, you know? Because, you know, when you have like your first year, 150 people auditorium lectures, you know, you don't get this.
150 is so small.
Well, what's big? Like 300?
400.
Yeah, the CSIS auditorium. Yeah.
Yeah, we
It's been
began
a while.
in CSIS in 2012. So I have the few human beings down in the front. There's tremendous empty space. But we were very proud of all the technology bells and whistles that were in that room. We didn't use them, of course, but I said they were there. You know,
Right.
yeah. So. But for the bullwhip performances and balloon animals and stuff, those guys made use of the whole room. Yeah.
That's some good echo in that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No need for a mic.
Yeah. Okay, well then, well, I've enjoyed teaching you this term, and what makes this term different from all others is the way that, like, there's so much stuff I'm still waiting for. It's gonna be completed on the very last day, can possibly be done. Yeah, so that doesn't happen very often.
Is this the first completely back from COVID section or semester for LabMP?
Yeah, so yeah, I guess we still use the hybrid setup like we're doing now. I mean, it's really the pre-COVID was just, video camera and not any. So when we're not doing Zoom at all, then we'll show that COVID's really gone. Yeah.
Do you plan to keep it hybrid for the foreseeable future, or?
Well, we can keep it that way. I don't know if there'll be any usefulness of it. And one way to sort of test that is the upcoming medical student teaching that I'm doing in kidney medicine. It's entirely face-to-face. There's no Zoom. It's, you go to this room and so on. So we'll see how that goes. But
I mean, you still need it to some extent, right? Because when Dr. Kaczynski was speaking to us, was it needed like Italy or something? Or here's what you mentioned to me,
Yeah, true.
something like that. So you said we need some.
That's true. Yeah.
This you buy something.
yeah, I think that it's good to keep the tech just for the, occasional times when it's
Yeah.
useful.
Yeah.
No matter what's happening out there in the world. Yeah. Okay, well, so we'll plan that session in the summer, and, keep things going. That sounds good. Okay, so I'll let the family know what the provisional plans are, so they can start thinking about it. Yeah. Very good. Okay, well, thanks for coming. And
We still have one more class on, right? Next week?
so we have a class on the 11th, but we're not gonna actually have it. I mean, I figured because it's after the holiday, that sort of thing, you guys wouldn't be
Final season.
terribly keen. But there's a lot of action on that day. 2 of the students are giving their presentation, and so it just happens. That is the way. But you don't have to be there, and I don't know whether the videos are going to be such that we would want to share them with everybody. I just don't know that yet. So we'll have to see.
So this is the last.
Yeah, so this
Yeah.
this is the last. Yeah,
Good hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. So if you encounter other humans that you think would benefit from the course, you can tell them about it and so on. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I'll be LABMP evangelist
good.
in that one.
Very good. Yeah, excellent. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Zayed. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Take care,
you.
everyone.
All right.